Drew Carey with his new schedule on ABC.
The Drew Carey Show, Wednesdays, followed by Whose Line Is It Anyway, starring Drew Carey. And then on Thursdays, The Drew Carey Show, 9 o'clock, 8 Central, followed by Spin City, starring me, Drew Carey.
Well, that is good news.
Sorry, Mike. I didn't even know you were there.
The Drew Carey Show in Spin City following AFV. See you Thursday on ABC.
Car and truck buyers, Bill Pierre Ford and University Ford are changing the way America buys. It's called direct pricing. Come to Bill Pierre Ford or University Ford and pick out the new vehicle you like. Every model will be clearly marked price to sell. We'll then show you the factory invoice, the price we paid for it. Then you'll know just how good of a buy we're offering you. No guesswork, no confusion, no stress with direct pricing. Only at Bill Pierre Ford and University Ford. We make cars and trucks affordable for people like you.
Before I went to Vern Fonk Insurance, my life was a mess. I needed an SR22, I needed insurance, I had a DUI, I had no place to go. At Vern Fonk, they helped me. They found me insurance, they got my SR22, my wife came back, and my dog even likes me. There's just one thing they couldn't help me with, and it's this.
We can help. Call Vern Fonk Insurance and remember to honk when you drive by Vern Fonk.
First for local news, Dan Lewis, KOMO 4 News.
Ladies and gentlemen, the star of Politically Incorrect, Bill Maher. Till just tonight, John Henson, Kathy Ireland, Kennedy, and Erica Jean.
They're always in a good mood on a Barbara Walters night, I tell you. Did you watch the whole thing? I guess a lot of America saw this. The big Monica Lewinsky interview with Barbara Walters, and to answer the big question, yes, Barbara did make her cry. Not with a question. She just ate the last buffalo wing, and that... Monica. Oh, it's a joke. No, I don't want to dwell on that, but Monica did bring this up, and Barbara did too, that Monica is self-conscious about her weight and had an issue about that, and I thought it was very telling that the president, our president, who I've defended on this issue for so long, again, seems like a nice guy with this. Monica said that during the time they were together, he went out of his way to say things to her like, hey, you look like you lost weight. He said to her, you look skinny today. Now, if Ken Starr could have tricked him into saying that under oath, that would be a perjury charge that might stick. You know, that would have been, yeah, no. No, I thought Monica looked very good. I think she's a very pretty girl. And you know what? It was interesting. Her hair was just the way the president remembered it, pulled back. No, I thought Monica did pretty well under a very tough situation, a lot of pressure on her. Sometimes her choice of words betrayed her. Like, at one point, she apologized to Hillary and Chelsea, but she shouldn't have phrased it this way. She said, boy, did I end up with egg on my face. And you know that, Well, it's like the 4th of July. We got to send up all our fireworks tonight. We got them all. No, I thought to sum it all up, Monica said the thing that I think, characterizes this. Over 13 months, we've lived with this horrible nightmare. She said she didn't think that their relationship hurt the job the president was doing. Although she admitted that once the job she was doing slightly hurt the president. Okay. Thank you for letting us be this lewd. And let us meet our panel. Her upcoming book is Hey Ladies, Tales and Tips for Curious Girls. Kennedy is right over here. Oh, I don't have your book, but you know I love you. Thank you. She is the best-selling author of Fear of Flying. Her newest is What Do Women Want? Erica Jeong.
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. He is the host of Talk Soup on E! Entertainment, John Henson. Yes, sir. Johnny boy, how are you? Good to see you. And finally, she is a supermodel designer and the national chair of the March of Dimes Walk America, Kathy Ireland. All right. Hi, Bill. Nice to meet you. And they say supermodels. Nice to meet you. They say supermodels don't have a bad attitude. Okay. Let's talk about someone who is not a
Mommy made a big mistake.
Well, let's not ask any complicated questions to begin with. We all just watched the big show. Did Monica Lewinsky come off better or worse than you thought? What do you think?
It was like watching a living John Wayne Gacy painting.
Well, we've been told...
Explain yourself. Yes.
Creepy clowns.
Creepy clowns. Yeah, I thought she was very practiced. I thought, you know what?
She's not a very good actress, and I was hoping for a little bit more emotion, or either emotion and actual, like, two girlfriends sitting down having a good cry, and seeing, like, the real side of her, or the nice mature side that we saw in the deposition, because I actually liked that side of her.
Well, I thought Barbara...
I was deeply moved, Kennedy. I don't know, you're a very hard-hearted person.
Your bowels are...
You really are. No, I mean, we've been hearing for a whole year that she's this Dippy Valley girl. And here's this poised, well-spoken young woman who looks very, very pretty. She's practiced, it's true, but she's not at all the person who's been depicted in the cartoons.
I thought she was more so today. Like, I thought she was a little bit more delusional, and if that's possible. But when we saw her in the deposition, I felt the same way. I thought, oh, you know, she's really not that bad, and she is attractive, and you could see why the president was attracted to her and her intelligence.
Well, she's very pretty, but they shot her in that Steven Seagal lighting. I mean, no, I'm serious. Whenever you have a...
Steven Seagal hair.
No, Steven Seagal hair. Hair pulled back, you don't see the body, and you get right from here. It's hard to look... You know, it's hard to look fat when it's just your eyes that are being shut. I mean...
But, you know, we have to have a little empathy. We have to have a little empathy. There is nothing worse in the world than to be the subject of public humiliation, to have Parry Match photographing your cellulite, which they did to Monica, to have pictures of yourself in which people say you're a lard ass.
Okay, boo-boo-hoo.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I agree with you. What she went through was horrible, and you wouldn't wish it on anybody. The thing that I took away from watching that was I was sort of disturbed by how lighthearted she was about the whole thing. She seemed to be reminiscing about it with a sense of pride. It was as if she felt like so justified in her connection to him that she didn't feel like she'd done anything wrong.
When she said, you know, Mommy made a mistake, I didn't understand. Was she referring to the fact that she told Linda Tripp, or the fact of the affair?
The affair. She was referring to the affair.
Well, I don't know. I think she left room for doubt. I think at the end, when she was asked a pointed question, she said...
It's sort of like the end of Citizen Kane. We really don't know. It's her rosebud.
You decide.
But for all those people who said, you know, Bill Clinton ruined her life, it didn't look like a woman whose life was ruined. It looked to me like a woman whose life was made.
Well, she is made. I think it's a very sad situation. I mean, it's funny to laugh about it, but well, this situation's tragic because of all the people who are hurt. There's so many people that have
not to mention the legal
through this. And I think if anything,
you think Monica Lewinsky's hurt by this?
Well, maybe not her particularly. Chelsea, Hillary.
Yes, they were hurt.
Down the line, Monica's family. I mean, there was a lot, and Monica had her share of pain too.
There's a lot of people who are not directly involved in the situation who are affected by it. But I mean, our entire country was absorbed with this story for, you know, God knows how long. The amount of money and time and energy we spent on it could have been much better spent on literally anything else.
She was given her chance to relive the whole thing. You know, like some 13-year-old who got to date the
all I could
college
think was
football player.
Heart of hearts. If you went to her heart of hearts and you said, you know, this was painful and this and that, but it made you a huge celebrity and you are being interviewed by Barbara Walters, wasn't it worth it? She would say yes.
Yeah, and you're making a couple million.
You don't think so?
I think she was very pleased by
She's not very young. She's 25.
Also, well, that's very young, Bill. I mean, compared to you.
You know, it's so funny the way, you know.
You're in tennis, your career's over at 25.
Right. And also, they all want to be a woman until they make a bad choice, and then they're back to being a girl. You know, there's that double standard.
Yeah, sure. No, that's an excellent point.
You know, it's like...
Okay, I have a question. Is there a double standard in the fact that in 1997, when Kelly Flynn was court-martialed, the first B-52 pilot, because of her adulterous affair, I know Bill Clinton is a civilian, but he's not a civilian. He's the commander-in-chief. He can send her to die. That was one thing. I agree with you. I never was able to stomach that.
And he did not send Monica to die. The Kennedys killed Marilyn Monroe, but he didn't send her to die.
Well,
you know, we got to take
Bill Clinton doesn't know that now.
We'll take a commercial. We'll come back to the subject of
it. Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher, brought to you by Pontiac.
It all began with its solid form design. Now that design is achieving some very solid results, presenting the most solid Grand Am ever for the most solid ride of your life. And now Grand Am has been ranked the most appealing entry midsize car by J.D. Power and Associates. It's excitement, well-built. Grand Am by Pontiac. Get into a well-equipped Grand Am today for only $209 a month and drive away with one solid deal. Fighting tartar. Brushing may not be enough. Introducing the only mouthwash that helps fight tartar buildup. New Tartar Control Listerine. It has the same germ-killing power as regular Listerine, plus helps fight tartar buildup better than brushing alone. If you're going to fight tartar, make it an unfair fight. New Tartar Control Listerine. When brushing starts, Listerine finishes.
There are many ways you can get stuck with a flat tire. But not with this tire. Even with no air pressure, you keep driving to safety. The Goodyear AquaSteel Run Flat. It could be the difference between getting stuck and getting there. Only from Goodyear.
This is the last Academy Awards of the century, and guess who's going with Oscar? Me. It's our third date. So you should come and party with us on ABC Sunday at the Oscars, March 21st, live. He's so cute.
Give it up. Your Colonel's got the moves this NCAA season. Some fun for the fans, too, because my popcorn chicken's back at KFC. Crunchy morsels of tender white meat, non-stopping, mouth-popping good. Ooh, nothing but net. Try my popcorn chicken for $1.99. Alley-oop. Go, Colonel. Go, Colonel. At KFC, we do chicken right. And not just in a bucket, neither. The Colonel, he the man.
Hi, I'm Maximum Protection, the authority for NAPA Gold filters. Today's driving conditions are severe, with frequent stopping and road dirt. But I hold 45% more dirt than the leading national brand. And that's important, because I help your engine last longer. So put me to work and get the maximum protection of NAPA Gold filters.
NAPA, over 200,000 parts, and everyone's important.
Join us tomorrow when our guests will be Graham Nash, Jackie Collins, Lisa Ann Walter, and Al Rantel.
All right, since so much of the country watches, I think we do have an obligation to try to broaden it out and see how it affects
Broad.
I get it because...
Broaden it out.
Okay. No, but just how she is emblematic of, I think, her generation, which is not that...
A generation that sees flashing your thong as a subtle flirtation.
Yeah. Isn't that...
Why wasn't that my generation?
Right.
Did you try and have sex with them? Yeah.
Right.
But she is typical of her generation in that her parents were divorced. She's a fatherless girl who falls in love with the president. I mean, she's totally typical of Generation X in every way. And I think that Monica has a great future. We should talk about Monica's future.
Sorry, Mike.
Since men
future.
She has a great future. Men are always attracted to power. They are attracted
Men
to
are
want.
attracted to
yeah,
power?
they always want to.
Women are
Wait a minute. Are you going to
other-
tell me that Monica Lewinsky is more attractive to men now because
Yes,
she's...
because it's a chance
Is that
for
in
them
this
to
book?
Bill Clinton. Have you ever noticed? John, have you ever noticed the way Greek shipping tycoons always marry the same women over and over again?
I'm not that familiar with the Greek shipping tycoons.
Have you ever noticed the way Pamela Harriman went from one powerful man to the next? Men like to women who have been by other powerful men.
Language, Erica.
Hey, look, we're all friends here.
We're all friends on TV. Okay.
We're all friends with a 7-second delay.
Can you say that on TV?
She has a great future. She's going to have many powerful men in her life.
And she's an Aquarius, so that means she's taking her Virgo rising, and it's in the house of Pluto, which may not be a planet, but I see big things for her.
Forget the Greek shipping magnate. Forget the Greek shipping magnate. I think she better look into a cigar manufacturer.
Okay. Well, Barbara Walters, who did a great job, I thought, today, really got a lot out of her. She said at one point,
You're just trying to get on The View.
I co-hosted The View last week.
Thank you.
Put that in your pipe. But Barbara said to her toward the end, and she was talking about after Clinton broke up with her, she said, and Monica was like making scenes at the gate, she said, "You were a real pain in the butt to the president." And Monica proudly said, "You bet.
Yeah.
You bet."
You
and
go,
that's what
girl.
I mean about the narcissism of this generation versus...
Our generation was not
the
narcissistic.
narcissism of this generation. What about the narcissism of the boomers who think they can get away with anything and who actually, you know, do not rebuff the advances of young girls, who actually welcome those advances and think that they are totally indestructible?
Yes, but don't you think...
I don't think that you can say...
If anyone is a beacon for their generation, it's Bill Clinton.
Kennedy, he's not representative of a whole generation. I'm sorry.
Except for the part where he
not.
is.
No, he's not representative of a whole generation.
But don't you think that Bill Clinton, as president, yes, he is narcissistic. Don't you think he has more of a right to be narcissistic due to the fact that he's accomplished so much and she hasn't? Don't you think that enters into the equation? I can't believe these people who say Bill Clinton, he's, you know, it's like if a college professor did this. He's not a college professor. He's the guy who got to be our leader.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean
he's
something.
Also, if he got there, he should have a little bit more self-control than that.
What kind of person gets to be president? Do you think a person without tremendously inflated sense of who he is gets to be president?
Right.
Who can stay up 24 hours a day and give speeches and travel from city to city? But a crazy person. And that's who we have as president.
But, I mean, another generation looked at the president and revered him and said, you know what, this guy did something none of us could do, none of us would do. He's sacrificing in ways that none of us would do. And therefore, he should deserve a little more slack. And to say, you know, she's narcissistic, he's narcissistic, they're not on the same level. They're not peers. He's the president, she's the chunky chick who brought in the mail.
I agree with you completely. So, you know what? She's the groupie. He should have more self-control than that. And he has so much more on the line.
He chose her. That says something about, you know, about both of them. But regardless, I think it's really a question of, was there a law that was broken? And that's what had to happen.
Well, I think
it was
that's an interesting question. I
It's
mean,
the
for
perjury.
me, the issue is much less his infidelity and more his reaction to the exposure of his infidelity. I find it to be not justifiable in any way, but a much more human mistake to stray from your marriage than to actively suppress stuff and try to weasel out of it without owning up to it. To me, it's sort of a question of, in a president, I'm looking for someone with the moral courage to say, I made a mistake, and I'm willing to answer to that mistake, and I'm willing to make reparations for it immediately. And I think that would have made people feel like, hey, what the hell, you know?
I have to take a commercial. I'm so sorry. We'll come back.
is you. Communications has finally caught up with the way you live. Introducing AT&T Personal Network. All the ways you want to communicate in one network with the same low rate of 10 cents a minute on your calls, even wireless. One bill, one number to call for more personalized service. Just call 1-800-4ATT now or visit our website. AT&T Personal Network. It could change forever the way you communicate. Call 1-800-4ATT now.
The Mitsubishi Eclipse, postponed adulthood, starting at under 16 grand.
It's another beautiful day.
I'm walking on sunshine.
One of those days you never want to lose to seasonal allergies.
And don't it feel good?
Talk to your doctor about Claritin. Just one Claritin tablet daily brings you 24 hours of non-drowsy relief from seasonal allergy symptoms. Claritin has a low occurrence of side effects such as headache, drowsiness, fatigue, and dry mouth.
I'm walking on sunshine.
Don't lose a single day. Take clear control. Take Claritin.
Hey.
National champion Michael Weiss, world champion Alexei Yagudin, European champion Maria Budinskaya. The ISU Grand Prix final in prime time, Saturday at 9.
Tonight at 5 o'clock on KOMO 4 News.
I appreciate everything.
An angel among us who's known the pain of cancer.
It's just like a lightning bolt came out of nowhere. Hit me.
Who's now an inspiration to those facing the same challenge.
He's an inspiration for me especially.
I know these kids look at him and say, wow.
Meet this angel among us. His extraordinary story. Tonight at 5 o'clock on KOMO 4 News. First for local news.
So, how you doing?
Oh, miserable.
What?
Breakfast time, we sit around while folks pop something sweet from the toaster.
Oh, yeah.
What's not to love? Real eggs.
Hey, bacon.
And cheese. Say, what if somebody wrapped us up in a pastry crust and popped us up?
Introducing Pillsbury Toaster Scrambles. Real eggs, smoky bacon, creamy cheese in a flaky pastry crust right in your grocer's freezer.
Mmm.
Pillsbury Toaster Scrambles.
Look out, sweet stuff.
Well, it's a big deal we're talking about. A big deal. Well, I only make big deals. Uh-oh. Better get Maaco.
For a big deal, get Maaco's Ambassador Paint for $189.95.
He's a mob boss with a problem.
I got stressed.
Robert De Niro.
You are my shrink.
Billy Crystal.
You don't hear the word no very often, do you?
And lies this.
I hear it all the time, only it's more like, no, please, no, no.
Rated R. Starts Friday, March 5th.
Okay, you know, we have a website, and gosh, if anybody's connected with the computer industry, it's me. But whatever it is, people do the thing, I don't know, it's CB Radio. But anyway, they enjoy it, and we said we'd do this, so we're going to ask a question that they asked, and I think this is a great question, actually. So Jeff from British Columbia said, how free is a country in which a person can't say what she thinks about Ken Starr? And as you saw in the interview, she was not allowed to say what she thinks about Ken Starr, and he may go after her for what she says in her book about Ken Starr.
Ken Starr is the scariest thing that has happened to this country in the last 50 years. I think that Ken Starr and the way he treated Monica Lewinsky, the way he baited her, the way he tried to keep her from calling counsel, the way he put pressure on her mother. Right. I think it's ghastly, and I think it's the most fascistic thing that's happened in this country since the McCarthy hearing.
And people get that, which is what's... if there's one silver lining in this cloud, I do think it's that people get that.
Oh, yeah. He's got... Let me tell you something. If I were Ken Starr, I'd be checking my mailbox, because you got a huge karmic bill coming, my friend. And when it comes due, I don't want to be anywhere near around you. You know it's just a matter of time before we find out this guy's got some, like, 14-year-old Laotian houseboy in his basement or something like that. You know what I mean? You don't get that into somebody else's business without getting a little gratification.
He'll pay that bill at Pepperdine University.
Right. Let me ask you this.
He'll pay that bill at Pepperdine University.
She said in the interview that she told Bill Clinton at one point, she said, I love you. to him. And he said back to her, that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think the same thing happened to me on prom night.
You mean that's what the girl said back to you?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah,
But,
you were the worst
I mean,
thing.
what is your impressions of that? Let me ask the three beautiful women we have here. When you say I love you and the guy says, that means a lot to me. Isn't that a hint?
That's really
Shouldn't she have, at that point, taken it upon herself?
That's a really big hint. That's when she needed to have her General Foods International coffees moment with Linda and say, you know what? I am a portly pepper pot at this point. I am as stupid as my ass is big, and I really should get out of this thing.
I don't think it's fair to say she's that stupid.
She was so in love, infatuated, whatever with him. I think she probably didn't want to hear it. It probably didn't even register.
I don't think you say I love you without the anticipation of hearing I love you back. And when you hear, and you're the best. You know what I mean?
All right,
You gotta know you're getting shot on.
It takes dozens of people to make a show come to life, and just one thing to stop it, a migraine. So for migraine pain, you know what I take? Excedrin Migraine. It really works. It gives me the strong, fast relief I need. My doctor says it's the only non-prescription medicine that's FDA approved for migraine pain relief. So the migraine pain goes away, and I can get back to work, because the show must go on. Excedrin Migraine. Trust me, it works.
The 1999 Lexus ES 300. More powerful than ever, without losing so much as an ounce of civility.
Drew Carey with his new schedule on ABC.
The Drew Carey Show, Wednesdays, followed by Whose Line Is It Anyway, starring Drew Carey. And then on Thursdays, The Drew Carey Show, 9 o'clock, 8 Central, followed by Spin City, starring me, Drew Carey.
Well, that is good news.
Sorry, Mike. I didn't even know you were there.
The Drew Carey Show in Spin City following AFV. See you Thursday on ABC.
Pack your bags.
It's Scandinavia Week.
It's time to party Scandinavian style, and this firefighter is ready to win some of these red-hot 4-alarm prizes. Gee, do you think he'd let me work the siren? And this lucky student is hoping to pass the test and take home some of that serious cash. Hey, nothing beats a truckload of big, big money. Join Pat and Vanna for the Scandinavian Triple a Lifetime. All this week, only on Wheel of Fortune Scandinavia Week.
Tonight at 7 on KOMO, ABC4.
Olympia. Yes, it's that magical time of year again, when our legislature gets together to spend your money. We weren't invited, but we came anyway. 570 KVI. We've got Olympia covered.
Well, Mr. Limbaugh, what has our little agitator been up to this week? Do you know where smart Alex like you end up?
On the radio?
Rush Limbaugh, 9 till noon on Talk Radio 570 KVI.
I'm Officer Jonathan Young with the Seattle Police Department.
And I'm Officer Tiffany Atwood with the King County Sheriff's Office.
We're looking for qualified law enforcement officers for new positions with the City of Seattle and the King County Sheriff's Office.
If you're 21 years old, have a high school diploma or GED, are a U.S. citizen with no felony or domestic violence convictions, you may qualify. We're offering stability, security, full benefits, and retirement.
If you like challenge, variety, helping people,
and the idea of making a difference in your community, call for more information.
Planning to be in the Los Angeles area and would like free tickets to Politically Incorrect, call 323-575-4321.
Okay, two of the subjects they covered extensively in the intro tonight were Linda Tripp, and of course Linda Tripp has always said she did it for Monica to save her because some of the other women were smeared and so forth, and the dress. Monica said she saved the dress because she thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I don't buy that.
Well, but, Monica does have a sense of humor, and Linda Tripp is a vast right-wing conspiracy, all by herself.
Yes.
But what I thought was very interesting about tonight was that Monica seemed very sexy to me. And I frankly was very proud of my president.
You got it bad for Monica.
Yeah.
You think she's a big, strong, powerful woman.
I do.
Yeah. I'm getting a very late-night Cinemax kind of feel right now.
She came off much better than the
She has no fear of flies. We know that. It's my job. But I was going to say, if Monica didn't have that dress, which had the definitive proof on it, do you think Bill Clinton would have tried to smear? Do you think Bill Clinton would have said, ooh, I'd like to get something juicy on her?
Yes.
And if I could... I've been living with this for 13 months. You can't say anything without it sounding dirty. That did sound
just
dirty.
ask her. She's got potty mouth.
He's a politician. He lies. I mean, Bill Clinton would have tried to get away with it. He would have. When he said, I never had sex with that woman, we all knew that he was just a man.
But would he have tried to characterize her as a nut and a slut, and would he have just
Not personally, but he would have had Sidney Blumenthal and all the states do that.
Sidney Blumenthal did it.
Absolutely. There's absolutely no way the whole thing would have gone any
I didn't think he himself was going to go on.
Yes, absolutely, he would have smeared her. Absolutely.
But the one thing is that this has really damaged the political process, because what everyone is saying is all politicians lie, all politicians cheat.
They do.
Not all. Well, maybe it's not all politicians. Maybe there is hope that there's one or two good people out there.
I don't think you're ever going to find somebody who can stand up to the $40 million investigation.
I'm running for the Senate challenge.
It's a good challenge for the future.
But you know what? If there is somebody who doesn't have anything to hide, I think he's sort of out of touch, and I don't want to be in president.
Right. I don't trust people like that. Okay, tomorrow we're going to have Graham Nash. Oh, I love Graham Nash. Jackie Collins, I love Jackie. Lisa and Walter's a great guest, and Al Rantel. I don't know him. But I understand he's very good. So tune in tomorrow night. Thank you, folks. You were good.